Hi, Red Belt.
Hi, Red Belt. Awesome. And then let's see. Mr. Seth, am I getting that right? The one that just raised his hand? Awesome. Mr. Seth, what belt did you test for today?
We progress checked for our high red belt progress check.
Awesome. All right. I see the 4 columns guys getting all ready. Hello, Mr. Thompson. Hello, Mr. Miller. How are you guys today?
Oh, we're doing well. How are you, Mr. Durant?
Fantabulous, sir. And sorry, I've missed you, Mr. Fudge. It's good to see you too as well.
Hi, sir.
So Johnstown's probably going to join us a little bit late. Master Macy has a rockin' white belt class going on out there. So let's just sit and talk for a little bit. Oh wait, and we're also missing our long monsters, aren't we?
Longmont does not have in-school classes tonight. It's their day class.
Ah, yes. Okay. All
Mr.
right.
Durant,
Well,
do you need me to pull up the slides for today, or do you have them?
I do not have them. If you could pull them up, I would be forever grateful.
Absolutely.
While we're waiting for that, though, I wanted to talk about something we covered in, I think it was chapter 9. It was the different levels of self-talk. Who remembers reading and talking about chapter 9? Raise your hand. Awesome. All right. Well, if you remember, we had different levels of self-talk. So we had level 1 and 2, which weren't the most ideal. And then we had level 3, which was pretty good, and level 4 that was awesome. Who remembers what level 3 was? This is important. Oh, Mr. Seth, what was level 3?
I just forgot it right after I raised my hand.
Ah, okay. You know what? That happens all the time. It's like when you walk out of the door and you all of a sudden forget what you were walking out of the door for. So yeah, that happens to me all the time as an adult. So level 3 and level 4 self-talk, those were more positive ones. So if I were, say, trying to change something, for example, I want to be able to remember names better. That's my goal. Instead of saying I can't remember names, level 3 would be, and I got to check my notes too, I never have trouble remembering names. So that would be level 3, talking as if the changes already happened. So it's a little bit more positive, right, everybody? Very good. Then we have level 4. And level 4 would be, instead of I can never remember names, just talking all positivity, I've got a great memory for names. So everybody sees the difference between 3 and 4, right, everybody? I'm changing this so I can see it a little better. I wanted to review that a little bit because that's going to be part of our homework this week. And let's see if I can go ahead and change this over here. Sorry, you guys can't see what I'm doing, so I'm just kind of talking. All right, there we go. So in chapter 12, we're talking about, it's not subliminal what we're talking about, right, guys? We're not talking about hypnotizing you. So who wants to volunteer to read the first slide? Mr. Seth, why don't you come on up here, unmute yourself, and read the first slide. But someone else besides for Seth is going to have to volunteer today. Looking at you, Kostlers.
Can you read it, sir? In some ways, at first glance, might look like a form of self-hypnosis, but
It's spelled wrong. There are important differences between them.
There are important differences between the two. Hypnosis takes temporary control of your receptive mind without the benefit of your conscious awareness. It is most frequently used to temporarily override unconscious programs in the brain. Number 3, self-talk, on the other hand, deals with a much broader range of mental programs and permanently rewire neural pathways in the brain using conscious reception.
Repetition, awesome. He read that like a champ. Great job. I was super impressed. Let's give Mr. Seth one clap. All right. So on this slide, I like to just take away the key important things. So one is what we're doing temporary, or are we trying to rewire our brain forever? Raise your hand if you think what we're trying to do is just temporary. Raise your hand if you think it's permanent. Awesome. Costas, can you guys hear me okay? I just haven't seen, can you guys hear me well? Awesome. So Costas, give me a thumbs up if what we're talking about, we're trying to make permanent, right, sir? Sirs? Good. So we're trying to make these changes permanent. Hypnosis is something that's temporary. Everybody knows what hypnosis is, right? We hold that watch in front and we wave it in front and we say, you are getting sleepy, and you talk and act like a duck after that, right, guys? But that's not what we're doing. We're making active, conscious changes in order to change our behavior, in order to change our self-talk. So instead of temporarily tricking us into changing our behavior, we're actively working to change the behavior for a long period of time. Does that make sense, everybody? Awesome. If we could go ahead to the next slide. All right, let's see. Who wants to read that next one? Someone besides for Mr. Seth. Ooh, Mr. Kostler the Bigger. Could you read this for me, sir?
Yes, sir. So, so big ideas. Taking responsibility for yourself. When you are fully aware of your own self-talk and every program you're allowing to be weird into your brain, you're taking responsibility for yourself. Personal responsibility is at the root of everything we think, do, convince, fail at, or achieve in our lives. Responsibility does not mean duty or burden. It is not the measure of our liability in our accountability. It is the basis of our individual determination to respond to life and to feel for ourselves within it.
Awesome. Good job. Give Mr. Kostler one clap. So, as I was saying before, this is something that we're actively choosing to do for ourselves, right, guys? That makes it our responsibility. So it's something that we have to work on. But responsibility sometimes gets a negative connotation. So who can give me another example of a responsibility you might have? Ooh, I see a Miss Baker hiding behind Miss Allison. Miss Baker, what's a responsibility you have, ma'am? Oh, they're still getting it set up while they're
A responsibility that I have, sir, is taking care of my cat.
taking care of your cat. That's a responsibility, right, guys? Now, is that a negative thing, taking care of your cat? No, because she gets the joy of having a cat. I wish I had a cat. That's awesome. So, who has another responsibility they want to shout out? Let's see. Ooh, I'll just volunteer you guys for you. Mr. Sam, do you have a responsibility you want to share? I just like making Miss Rebecca get up and I'm muted every time. That's really fun.
Are we unmuted?
Yes, sir.
One responsibility. What was the question again?
What's a responsibility that you have, sir?
Okay, one responsibility I have is to take care of our pets. Is to take care of my salamander and our fish.
Salamander and a fish? Wow, very exotic pets too. Awesome. So again, that's a positive thing. He takes care of them, but in return, he gets something. He gets those animals love. He gets to keep them as pets. He gets to, have the joy of having them. Can we get one without maybe taking care of pets? Maybe some of your parents make you do something at home in like terms of an allowance. Kostlers.
Taking care of my phone, sir.
Taking care of your phone. You have a phone. How old are you, Mr. Kostler?
I'm 11. I actually just got it a couple days ago.
You know what? I was 11 when I got a phone. I can't judge. All right, so taking care of your phone. Now that's a responsibility, everybody, right, guys? That's something that he actively has to do. That's something that he has to be mindful of. But overall, it's a positive thing, right, everybody? Good. So, taking responsibility, taking personal responsibility for rewiring our brains to be more positive. Yes, it's work, but on the other hand, we get something out of it. So sometimes when somebody says responsibility, negative people will be like, oh, another thing on my plate. Oh, another duty, another burden. The point of this slide, to me at least, is this is not something that should burden us. This is something that we get to do in order to actively improve ourselves. So if we could go on to the next slide, Miss Chrissy, please and thank you. All right, and let's see. I'm gonna pick on, let's see, we've had a Costler, we've had a Quillen. Mr. Fudge. You. Mr. Fudge, can I have you read this next slide?
Yes, sir. Sorry, what was that? We got a little loud here for a second.
Oh, I was going to see if you could read the next slide for us.
Yes, sir. All right, so there is a near cousin of hypnosis that in the past years has been popular from time to time. An example of this would be recording a specifically selected music that also has embedded into the soundtrack an audible spoken message. Subliminal video messages added to movies or television have the ability to create an emotional response from the viewer.
Very nice. So who here has ever raised a movie or watched a movie? And I want to raise of hands. Watched a movie and like maybe it was like Fast and Furious 12 or whatever one they're on now. And they saw like Vin Diesel drinking a Coke can or something like that. Raise your hand if you've ever seen something along those lines. Or maybe you were watching, I don't know, a movie and somebody's using the brand new iPhone. That's an example of product placement or subliminal messages. And it's a way to rewire your brain in order to be like, hey, my favorite character is using that item. I should use that item too. So I like that the slides bring this up because we talked about this the last time I did a book talk. We talked about this when we were talking about the things that we were saying, those stinking thinking ideas. I had to think of it myself. But the way that we talk to ourselves over time, that changes how we act. So, and it does it in a subliminal way, almost kind of like hypnosis. So if we continually said to ourselves like, oh, I'm bad at math. Oh, I'm bad at, let's see, I can't kick very high. Or let's take another one. Any one of those thinking things, or, oh, I don't have enough time. In our mind, eventually we're truly going to believe it. But if we said something positive instead, like, oh, I can kick high and I'm kicking higher every day. Or, you know what, I'm getting better and better at math. Then that's going to become true. Make sense, everybody? All right. So, yes, what we're doing is something that we're actively trying to change in our brain. And it's something that we have to work towards, but it works on a subliminal level for us as well. Make sense, everybody? All right, and last slide, Ms. Chrissy. Okay, so our homework. I want you guys to think about something that motivates you and write down a positive statement you can say about it. So, Ms. Chrissy, is there any way you can scroll down and so we can see that example below us? Oh, no, never mind. So, something that you struggle with, maybe. So, who wants to give me an example of something that they're struggling on and working on improving? Miss Baker again.
My black belt form, sir.
Your black belt forms. Or if you're a lower belt, your lower belt forms, right, guys? So take something like that and then make it a level 3 or level 4 self-talk. So, for example, if you're struggling with your forms, you might say, you know what? I never have trouble with my forms anymore. Make sense? So you're going to take that statement and you're going to write it down. Or if you did it with a level 4 statement, I have a great memory and I am just absolutely fantastic with forms. No room for negativity in that statement. Make sense, everybody? So who wants to give me an example of that? First, tell me something that you might struggle with. let's take Mr. Kostler the small. What's something that you struggle with, and what's a positive statement you can make about that using level 3 or level 4 self-talk?
Something that I struggle with is probably trying to stay off Minecraft a little bit.
You know what? I have that struggle sometimes too, Mr. Kostler the small. Now, what's a level 3 or level 4 self-talk that we can use in order to change our attitude about that?
I can do something else, and I won't do Minecraft too long.
Or yeah, or maybe you could say something along the lines of like, you know what? I don't have trouble getting off Minecraft. As soon as it's time to get off, I get off. Right, sir? Would that be level 3 or level 4? Can you show me with your fingers? That would be level 3. Now level 4 would be like, I'm always great at getting off Minecraft. No negatives in the statement. You don't even bring up that you had a problem with it beforehand. Make sense, Mr. Kostler? Oh, Mr. Kostler the tall has a good example. Can you explain now?
Yeah, sometimes I struggle. Sometimes I struggle with the thing that I always keep forgetting to bring something.
Okay, so you're forgetting items, right, sir?
Yeah.
So a level 3 statement about that you could write would be, you know what? I'm getting better at remembering all my items, right, sir?
Yeah, or I could say, I am definitely going to practice remembering my items.
Very good. That would be closer to level 4 too. So I really like that, Mr. Kostler. So just going right to the positive, like I always remember, I'm never going to forget again. That's awesome. Good job. Let's give these Kostlers 2 claps. Mr. Seth, we haven't had you speak in a while. So let's have you give me an example.
I struggle with practicing my cello and karate.
Your what in karate?
My cello.
Your cello and karate. So both of those things. So can you give us a level 3 statement about that?
I will practice no matter what.
That's straight to the point. Awesome. So you're going to practice your cello and your karate no matter what. Or you can even go like super positive and just like the change has already happened, right? You've already set your mind to that change, right, Mr. Seth?
Yeah.
So the change already happened. Just say, I always practice my karate and cello.
Mm-hmm.
And make it happen. All right. Miss Siri, we haven't heard much from you. I kind of want to hear your thoughts.
Well, practice my raga.
Your raga?
Yeah, while I'm learning how to sing.
Ah,
It's Carnatic music.
okay. So, can we just refer to it as singing? Is that okay? I'm not familiar with it, so I just want to make sure I'm getting that right. It's singing, right, Miss Siri?
Yes.
Awesome. So, practicing your seeing. Seeing a level 3 statement would be something along the lines of, you know what? I always remember my singing to practice my singing. I no longer need to be reminded. Right, ma'am?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Awesome. And then level 4 would be just taking the negative out of it. I always remember. So awesome. Your homework is pretty easy this week, guys. Write down something that stresses you out. As long as like far as what you guys shared with me today, write it down and write it down in a level 3 or level 4 positive self-talk way instead. So for example, for me, I always remember to do my black belt forms. Just right there, right, guys? Or you guys want to hear something that I struggle with personally? Keeping my car clean. So I never have to remind myself anymore to keep my car clean. Raise your hand if that was a level 3 statement. That was a level 3 statement, yeah. Or level 4, I always keep my car clean. What are you talking about? You don't have to remind me. So that's my homework for this week. It's the same as yours, okay, guys? So write down that positive statement about the things that are stressing you out. Make sense? Awesome. Well, thank you guys all for joining me today. I know it was a little short, but I had a really fun time. You guys all did super fantastic. Make sure to do your homework. And I look forward to seeing you guys all next week. All right, bye. If you guys want to just stick around and chit chat, that's more than fine too.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Miss Chrissy. Bye, Quillins. Bye, Bakers.
Mr.
Bye,
Grant,
Moses.
you did a great job, sir.
Thank you kindly, ma'am.